Now, the clash between the rights of trans sports people and women's sport people is creating controversy again in the United States. It's because a swimmer by the name of Lia Thomas, who's a trans athlete who previously competed for the University of Pennsylvania in the men's swim team, has become a trans athlete, Lia Thomas, and she is swimming for the women's team. This is creating a lot of consternation from a lot of athletes, including from athletes on her team. The university is sticking by her, but it is an ongoing problem. I want to bring in Katherine, who's the co-founder of Save Women's Sport Australasia. Thanks for joining us again, Katherine. This is the sort of situation we've seen come up so many times. We all want Lia Thomas to be able to compete in a sport she loves, but the issue is always both the sporting fairness for the female athletes that she's competing against, and also there have been issues raised about the change rooms, given Lia Thomas's male anatomy.
That's correct. So Lia Thomas is a male. We have a man competing in the women's sports competition, and Lia is cleaning up. Lia is currently holding the record for the 200 metres and the 500 metres in the women's. Lia is slated to compete in the women's. This is a male. I mean, I think we need to just we just need to speak plainly about this at the NCAA championships in March. And if Lia gets banned, his university is looking at actually defending him with litigation. Now, further to that, the girls on the team are distraught. The parents have written to the school. The girls have complained that Lia, who is a male, who is a heterosexual, is getting his genitals out in the change room, and they are complaining and they are being told to be quiet. So here we have an Ivy League college that is essentially sanctioning indecent assault of the female athletes in their care. It is an absolute scandal.
It's an extraordinary situation, and it goes to just how far we've drifted from reality on these issues, because Lia Thomas competed in the men's swim team and then has decided to identify as a woman and competes for the same university on the women's team, as you say, with male genitalia. Nothing's changed here except the way she wishes to identify, and all the women on the team and mixing with her in the change rooms have to abide by that. I mean, what about the university's role here? It's defending her rights, supposedly, above those of anybody else.
That's right. They go on about inclusion and kindness, but it appears that including the girls and being kind to the girls isn't even a factor. Lia is being treated as if they are, some special category of human being that deserves every protection at the cost of the women on the athletics team. It is completely unfair.
It is so unfair. It is so divorced from reality. No wonder you've had to start this organisation to defend the rights of women in sport, because it seems the key organisations, such as universities, are not interested in dealing with the reality of the situation here. On the other hand, we've seen in Brisbane today a story revealed where you might have a Christian college going too far. They've asked people parents sending children to the school to sign a contract that their students won't be involved in any gender reassignment, and also that they don't approve of gay lifestyles as well. Is this going too far in the name of religious freedom?
Look, I do agree with you, Chris. I think that the school have tried to stop this relentless focus on sexuality and gender identity in school, but they've gone about it the wrong way. I mean, focusing on homosexuality, we've moved on from that conversation. We accept that there are gay and lesbian people in our community and they are deserving of legal protections. However, I don't think we should be continuing constantly to be focusing on it in school. And I think that's probably what the school has tried to address, but they have gone too far. But as you pointed out, there are many organisations that are pushing gender identity, and particularly in schools. So schools are left to try and solve this problem on their own. And this is where they're coming out with this contract that this Christian school did this morning. So I'm not entirely sure what the solution is, but when it comes to gender identity, it really has no place in schools, and our leadership really needs to stand up and start listening to the parents who do not want this, the schools who do not want this, because the children are getting on board with it because they're seeing it on social media, general media, there's social contagion amongst the children. And as we know, the risk is if they start declaring that they're trans or non-binary, they might be pushed onto that medicalised pathway and irreversible surgeries that there are many clinicians and doctors trying to warn everyone about, because we are going to end up with a cohort of children who've been experimented on who are going to be left as lifelong medical patients.
Katherine, thanks so much for joining us again, for your courage in speaking out on these issues.
Thank you, Chris. Good evening.
Katherine Deves there. Again, look, obviously people who are trans and they want to play sport, we've got to accommodate that, but we can't be unfair to women, and we can't just ignore the reality of human biology. We do, though, have some issues with freedom of expression in this country. As I keep pointing out, we deported Novak Djokovic from this country because of his views. He didn't break any rules, according to the courts, but because of his views on vaccination, and therefore you end up with other people fighting out the Australian Open. And this is going too far too in this Christian school. You can't sign a contract about what you will and will not discuss in the years ahead. Just going way too far.